Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm testing out the very popular Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define concealers. So I mentioned in my Get Ready With Me that I'd actually do a double wear test because when I'm doing a kind of minimal makeup or no foundation makeup look, I do like to go in with a slightly fuller coverage concealer just to cover a little bit under my eyes, and obviously because I suffer quite badly from spots and stuff like that. So at the moment I use the Collection Lasting Protection Concealer. It's the most full coverage one that I have out of my cruelty free and my Green Beauty stuff, because these are only £4, which is amazing. They've brought out 18 shades of these, which in the whole grand scheme of things isn't enough shades obviously, but for a drugstore, for a cruelty free drugstore brand, that's quite impressive I think. It's a mixture of neutral, cool and warm undertones as well. I picked up, and they're meant to be like a dupe for the Tarte Shape Tape, which I obviously haven't tried. Tarte itself is cruelty free, but I know its parent company isn't. That's why I don't use it. Picked up 3 shades. I've got C1, which actually looks very fair, which is quite surprising at the drugstore. It definitely looks lighter than my Collection concealer. So that's this one here, very nice. I've also picked up C3 because, like I said, that C1 looked quite light. This one has a much more of a peachy, pinky undertone to it. That one there. And then for the contouring aspect, now I know I'm not a huge... I've been kind of gone off contouring quite a bit, especially the end of last year and stuff like that. But I thought, as these are meant for... you can use them for covering and contouring, I thought, well, I might as well give it a go and see if I can get back into the contouring. So I got the C14. This is the darkest one I had available in Superdrug, but to be honest, I don't think I'd want to go much darker because I am extremely fair. Now, like I said, I have already done a wear test with these. So that wear test was me having no foundation and seeing how it looked on the skin, seeing how much coverage it truly gave without having any foundation underneath and stuff like that. I did a wear test and I went to work and stuff. I won't tell you how it went, but I will show you that bit now. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly go in with some primer before I get started. I always add this primer even if I'm not using foundation, because it's kind of like another moisturising step into my routine. It's luminous as well, so it gives a nice healthy glow to the skin. Okay, so now I'm going to apply the concealer. I'm not sure which shade I want to go in with. C1 does look quite light, so I think I might just see what it's like and start with that under the eyes. I know I said the other one had a nice peachy undertone for covering dark circles, but I just want to see what this one is going to be like. So I'm just going to pop, not very much because it's apparently meant to be full coverage. I'm going to go in with my beauty blender and just start buffing this out. So it blends out really easily, I have to say, which is perfect. And it sits really beautifully under the eyes. It's definitely covered the dark circles there. I think actually the shade's not too light, because I might continue with the C1 for the centre of my face, and I get more to the spots going with C3, so it's not quite so brightening, because obviously I don't want to draw attention to that. So this wear test, I won't be testing out the C14 shade. I'll wait until I do my foundation test with it, just because I don't, like I said, I don't often contour anyway, and I wouldn't contour if I'm not doing like a foundation, like a no makeup look kind of thing, which is what I'm doing today. So again, I'm going in with C1 again, and other areas I like to conceal are, I suffer from redness around the nose, so I quite like that to be covered. And I like to apply just a little bit anywhere else I've got a bit of redness. So I suffer sometimes down the centre of my nose, a little bit here. And I bring it out a little bit onto my cheeks because I do suffer a little bit from redness. So as you see, it's blending out really lovely. And it definitely is a lightweight. It doesn't feel thick or anything like that on the skin, which is really nice. And so far the coverage is really good. The main test for me, and with a lot of concealers, is my spot area. So especially as I've got a few scars here which tend to be a little bit trickier to cover. That, instantly, that's kind of evened out my skin tone here, covered any redness that I wanted to cover. and the skin is already looking that much better without having to use foundation. So far I am very impressed. So I'm going to take C3, which is a slightly more pinky peachy undertone, but I just feel C1 has given a slight brightening effect, which is fine for down the centre of my face, but for the spot areas, like I said, I don't want to necessarily draw attention to them. So I've got, as you can see, my chin area is quite interesting. So and I suffer a lot of redness just in the centre bit here. Now if you don't suffer from like dark circles on your eyes or spots like I do, then you probably won't need this, because it is full coverage and it's kind of it's meant for covering things you don't want showing. So if you've got, like I say, if you haven't got spots or anything like that, then you probably don't need this, because why add the coverage if you don't need it? Again, blending out really nicely. And this also seems to be a good shade as well, so I probably could use this under the eyes. So it's quite refreshing. I mean, like I said, in the grand scheme of things, they need, obviously it's not enough shades really, but for a cruelty-free drugstore brand to bring out this many shades, it doesn't often happen. So that is one layer of the concealer. It's pretty much covered all the spots. There is this one here and this thing here, which is kind of like more, that's a scar, this is a kind of a spot disappearing now. So I am going to go in with a little bit more on those two, just to make sure that I can kind of cover it. But so far it's looking really nice on skin. Actually, I might use my finger for this bit so I can really play around with it. I'm kind of blending out the edges of it so that the coverage stays on the actual spot. So I say it's actually done a really good job of covering my spots and scars up. This one still is a little bit peeking through, but not a lot, so I'm kind of happy with that, especially for like a no makeup day. That's fine. Maybe with the foundation test I'll do for the second half, it might give me a lot, obviously I'll have more coverage going on there, but for an everyday no makeup look, this coverage is perfect, I think. It's sitting really beautifully on skin at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and set it to see how it reacts with some powder. So I'm just taking the Freedom translucent powder. And also just set my T-zone, because I do get very oily down the T-zone. Okay, so that's set the concealer in place. That will just make it last a lot longer. Obviously, because it's a matte concealer, you don't necessarily need to set it, but I'm about to go to work and I always get quite shiny and oily after work. So I just like to set those areas, and obviously my T-zone as well. I'm just going to quickly go and apply the rest of my makeup. So just a little bit of blusher, highlighter, and mascara. And then I'll be back to give my thoughts before I disappear and do my wear test. So I've just added a little bit more makeup on. So far, first impressions wise, I really like it. It sits lovely on the skin. Like, it is very lightweight on the skin. I think it gives a decent coverage. It's currently 8:45, so yeah, I'll be off to work. I'm there for about 6.5, 7 hours. And I can come back, see if it still looks the same, see if the oils in my skin have separated at all. Okay, so I'm back and it's now 10:55, so this has been on my face for 8 hours, I think. I have to say it's held up really well. As you can see, I'm looking a little bit shiny, but I always do, especially after work, and I've got oily T-zone, so that doesn't help. So I'm a little bit shiny up here, but my chin isn't looking too shiny because I haven't powdered. I haven't necessarily got time to powder at work, so I don't bother. I have to say, very little to no creasing under the eyes, which I really love about that. I think it's because it's a semi-matte finish, or is it a matte finish? So that's probably why it hasn't done that. Slightly disappeared around my nose area, I feel like. So far I am really impressed. Obviously for the second part I will be testing it with wearing foundation as well. I know it lasts perfectly well with my favourite primer, so I know I can get away with that. So it'll be interesting to see what it's like with my favourite foundation, which you'll see in the next part, and just see how long it lasts. And I can also test out the slightly deeper shade for the contouring aspect as well. Okay, so on to the second part of the wear test. So I've already applied some foundation. So I use obviously my 100% Pure primer as always, and then my favourite foundation for like going to work, because I know it lasts really well, I've lost it, is my Gosh Exceptional Wear foundation. So it's going to be a good test to see if the longevity changes, and also to see if it mixes well with the foundation and stuff like that. So I'm going to pop C1 under the eye portion. I'm also going to use it because it is actually quite a fair shade, so I'm going to use it to kind of brighten up a little bit down the centre of my face. However, for the spot area and actually around my nose, I think I'm going to go for C3 because I actually don't want to kind of brighten around those areas. Now obviously, as you saw from that first wear test, it blended really easily into the skin, gave good coverage. With the spots I did have to build it up slightly. Then I'm going to go in with my sponge again and I'm going to blend everything out. And the one thing I was really impressed with the last test was how very little creasing there was. There was almost no creasing at all. So this double wear test may not prove to have any difference, but I just thought it would be interesting to see. So as you see, again, that blended out really nicely. It's still sitting beautifully on the skin. The spot here is still peeking through like it did with the last wear test as well. It's just kind of one of those ones that needs almost a bit of colour correcting underneath. So yeah, I'm just going to apply a little bit more to that spot there. So taking C3 again. To go in and try this one. So this is the one I haven't tried yet, C14. Obviously the consistency is going to be the same, but it's just interesting to see if it is a nice contour product. Now on the website it says to do dots and join them together, so I'm just going to do, I'm not going to go heavy, I can build it up if I need to. I'm going to take my sculpting brush and wheel techniques. I like using this for like more creamy products to blend out. I mean, that blended out really easily. I don't know if it's maybe a bit too warm toned for my skin. So maybe I can use it to give like a more of a cream bronzed effect as opposed to contouring. But that's blended out so easy. Even with just those two dots, you can definitely see definition. It's definitely given some colour to the skin. Wherever is left on the brush, I'm just going to literally just buff it down the sides of my nose just to give a little bit of definition. But I have to say, I'm actually really impressed with it as a contour kind of slash bronzer, warming up the skin product. But that's actually really nice, and again it sits really nicely on the skin. I'm going to set the conceal areas with my Freedom powder again. Okay, so obviously it's set nicely. It did that yesterday as well, so that's no surprise. And so I really am loving this so far. So go away and add some blusher, a little bit of blusher and a lip, some kind of lip product, and then I'll be back at the end of the day. Almost 8:30 this morning, so I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so it's just gone at 4:15, so the concealer has been on for about 8 hours now, so the same as yesterday with the... I've held up pretty much just the same. As you can see, I'm shiny again. Like I said last time, I do get very shiny after work. But again, the chin isn't looking too bad. Nothing has broken up on the chin, anything like that. It actually looks really, really nice on the chin, I think. Again, around my nose area, it has started to disappear or gone a bit weird, which kind of happened yesterday as well. I'd say in terms of under the eyes, I think it wore better yesterday. I don't know if it's because I put slightly more on than I did yesterday. It's been on there for 8 hours, so I don't think it's absolutely horrendous, but it's definitely sunken into the fine lines a bit more than it did yesterday. I don't know what they're going to be like for, because these are a matte finish, so maybe on a dry skin it might be different. For someone who's oily down the T-zone like me, I mean, like I said, I'm starting to get a bit shiny on the chin, but that's because I haven't powdered all day and it's been on for 8 hours. But the main thing is it hasn't separated or gone funny. So I could just go in and top up with powder just to get over the shine and it still look really nice on the skin. So I know there's been a lot of hype over these and lots of people say they really like it, but I have to say I agree with them. I do really like this and I'll definitely continue to use it, and I'll even continue to use this shade, but like I said, more as a bronzing as opposed to contouring, because I did really enjoy it. So I hope it was kind of interesting to see the double wear test. I think the outcome hasn't really differed that much. I kind of wanted to see what the coverage was like without having any foundation underneath as well, and I think it's sat really nicely on top of my favourite primer and my favourite foundation, so I'm excited to try it with other foundations, see what it's like. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you've tried it and what your thoughts are on it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.